my life, I have someone who needs me, someone I've needed so long. For once unafraid, I can go where life leads me, and somehow I know I'll be strong. For once I can touch what my heart used to dream of long before I knew someone warm like you would make my dreams come true.
The voice you are hearing is that of Steve Lippia, who is going to be coming here to Cincinnati, coming up on Friday, April 18th, for a very special concert entitled Simply Swinging. This is going to be at Memorial Hall here in Greater Cincinnati. And welcome to WMKV Cares here on 89.3 FM WMKV and 89.9 FM WLHS. Two very special guests joining us here, Bill Bauman, as well as Teresa Summy Haas. I got them right, yes. And thank you both for being here from Memorial Hall. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us, George. And thank you to your listeners for giving us this opportunity to speak to them.
Well, it's going to be wonderful. And Bill, this is so exciting. We're going to talk about this event called Party Like It's 1959 at Memorial Hall. And before we get to this event, which is coming up on Friday, April 18th, it's called Simply Swinging. It's part of the Signature Series now at Memorial Hall, which is just one of the iconic buildings here in Cincinnati that's being given a facelift. It's got a whole new attitude and everything. Before we get to the concert, let's talk with Bill for just a moment here. He's the president of the Memorial Hall Society. And Bill, tell us a little bit about where Memorial Hall is for the people who may be new to Cincinnati or for people who may not have frequented it recently. A little bit about the history and what's going on with this beautiful venue right next to Music Hall there.
Well, thank you, George. This is just wonderful to be here. Memorial Hall is located in Over the Rhine, and we're really Memorial Hall is part of the revitalization of the Over the Rhine and really the revitalization of the core part of our city. It's a magnificent Beaux-Arts building. It is located just to the left of Music Hall. It was built in 1908, designed by the noted architect Samuel Hannaford and Sons, yes, which many people know.
Household name in Cincinnati. Yes.
Yeah, Samuel Hannaford designed Music Hall, our City Hall, and many other very noteworthy buildings. As I said, it's a Beaux-Arts building. It was built to honor the veterans of the Civil War and the Spanish-American War, and it was used as a meeting place and a memorial for those veterans. Today, we are, in the last year, undertaking a revitalization of the building, and that means increasing the utilization of the building, which we'd love to tell you more about the users of it. And we also are planning a major renovation, which is to start in about a year from now.
And I will tell you, for those people who may have been down to an event at Memorial Hall many, many years ago and kind of remember it as being kind of a little dark, almost a little cold, very echoey, the lighting, the changes that have already been made at Memorial Hall are stunning. And if you have not been to Memorial Hall recently, you haven't been to Memorial Hall, is what I'm telling people. It is amazing what you have done so far, just before you even get to the major renovations, what you've done to make this an accessible and a wonderful place to hear concerts.
Well, many people in the city and the arts community consider Memorial Hall a perfect jewel. Mm-hmm. Well, why is that? Well, it's intimate, number one. The performance hall, it only seats 600 people. The acoustics are excellent, and it's very decorative and beautiful, and it's just a wonderful place to see a concert.
And this is also a big deal. In fact, we were talking before the program with Teresa Summy Haas and Bill Bauman here about the Luminosity event that happened last summer. And as I understand, there are going to be a lot of things happening with the new luminosity this year that will even include Memorial Hall. Obviously, you're right next to the palette or the paint of the what am I thinking of? The canvas.
Yes.
That is luminosity, which is
Yes,
Music
the
Hall,
front of
where
the
they do
building,
everything
right.
there.
Yeah. Right.
But Memorial Hall being right next door. Teresa, you were telling us that there are also going to be some other luminosity facets, if you will, this year that we didn't have from last year.
Yes, Luminosity is adding the Luminosity Villages that will start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on August the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
And it's incredible. In fact, if you're listening to us, and I don't want to lose a lot of time talking about Luminosity, but let me tell you, if you missed it last year, do not miss Luminosity this year. It will be absolutely tremendous. It is. They literally take lasers and they paint the front of Music Hall. It is incredible. You watch it from Washington Park. It is just incredible. This whole renovation of Washington Park, I know you're also working with 3CDC and things like that. These are very important partnerships as we revitalize a lot of the downtown area.
Definitely. 3CDC is highly recognized for what it has done to help repopulate and develop over the Rhine. And we're very pleased and happy to have a partnership with them working toward the full renovation of Memorial Hall. It's very exciting part of it and working with them.
If you're just joining us here on WMKV Cares, we have some music we're going to play for you here today, and we're talking about Memorial Hall here in Greater Cincinnati. In fact, if you look it up on Facebook, I think it's Hamilton County Memorial Hall is what it shows up on Facebook, I think. But it is right next door, one of the great performance venues, one of the most beautifully reverberant performance venues in the greater Cincinnati area. I've recorded several times down there myself, but a great place to come down and see a concert and see this building as it is literally being revitalized. Now, we'll come back to Bill talking more about the revitalization of Memorial Hall, and you can find out a lot more at CincinnatiMemorialHall.com. Great place to check that out. But as part of this whole revitalization, Teresa, there are all kinds of wonderful events happening. It's called the Signature Series, and the one that's coming up that's right in our wheelhouse here at WMKV and WLHS is coming up Friday, April 18th, a week from tonight as we're actually sitting here. Friday, April 18th, Simply Swinging, Steve Lippia, who is one of the great Sinatra singers, Sinatra-style singers, as close as you're going to hear to Sinatra now. And also, my understanding is that Kathy Wade is going to be there that evening, helping to introduce everything, and what a wonderful evening that will be. And Dr. Scott Belk from the College Conservatory of Music Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. This is a gala evening. I mean, this is wonderful. Tell us a little bit about April the 18th.
It certainly is, George. Just imagine, next Friday, 5 minutes before the end of your workday, you have that song stuck in your head, Let's Fly Away. And you look forward to that Mad Men martini. Just grab your narrow ties or your cocktail dresses and come on down to Memorial Hall. You'll be greeted by elegant fare and a catered affair for Light Bites, and Obscura is providing the cocktails for the evening, which is very exciting. Then at 8 o'clock, we will go up to the performance hall, and the performance you'll be welcomed by Kathy Wade and the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra, and then the main event of our evening, Steve Lippia. And then the evening continues with swing dancers from the Blue Wisp and desserts from Matasanas.
Oh, my
So,
goodness
what
gracious.
An amazing evening.
Wow. So basically what you'll do is you'll work up your appetite for those desserts, right?
Correct.
That's
and
right.
that dancing at the end of the night.
Oh, just absolutely wonderful. And speaking of flying away, let's hear a little bit of Steve Lippia right now. Now, Steve Lippia is the Sinatra-style entertainer. He sells out just about everywhere he goes in the country. Just recently played Vegas, and he's coming here to Cincinnati Friday, April 18th at Memorial Hall downtown. We'll give you some ticket information. We'll repeat it at the end of the show. But at CincinnatiMemorialHall.com is a great place to check it out, or ticket information at 800-514-3600. 800-514-3849. Even though it's an 800 number, this is here local in Cincinnati. So 800-514-3849. Let's hear just a little bit more of Steve Lippia, who will be performing with Dr. Scott Belk and the CCM Contemporary Jazz Orchestra coming up on Friday, April the 18th. Here's a little bit more of Steve.
Hey there, cutes, put on your dancing boots and come dance with me. Come dance with me, what an evening for some terpsichore. Pretty face, I know a swinging place. Come on and dance with me. Romance with me on a crowded floor. And while that rhythm swings, what lovely things I'll be saying. For what is dancing but making love set to music playing? When the band begins to leave the stands and folks start to roll, as we waltz home cheek to cheek we'll be. Come on, come on, come on, come on and dance with me. Hey there, cutes, put on your bassy boots and come dance with me. Come dance with me, what an evening for some terpsichore. Pretty face, I know a swinging place. Come on and dance with me. Romance with me on a crowded floor. And while that rhythm swings, what lovely things I'll be saying. For what is dancing but making love set to music playing? When the band begins to leave the stands and folks start to roll, as we waltz home cheek to cheek we'll be. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on and dance with me.
That is tremendous. Steve Lippia in the style of Frank Sinatra. And Steve Lippia is going to be here in Cincinnati on Friday, April the 18th at Memorial Hall. The title of the concert is simply Swinging, and it will be the CCM Contemporary Jazz Orchestra under the direction of Dr. Scott Belk and Steve Lippia singing. Kathy Wade will be there. It's an all-star evening. And it's at Memorial Hall. Only one place where you're going to find this lineup. It's at Memorial Hall. They're saying party like it's 1959. There's going to be swing dancing, all kinds of fun things. And to that end, we have here with us Bill Bauman and also Teresa Sami-Haas from Memorial Hall. And I have to tell both of you that when the word came out about Steve Lippia coming to Cincinnati and the Simply Swinging concert, which is the at Memorial Hall, 1959. We're going to step back in time. I had 3 or 4 people immediately email me saying, you guys have to do something with this. WMKV, because we're all about radio history, WMKV and WLHS. And what you're doing now is not only preserving the great history of Memorial Hall, but you're also making brand new history for this facility. That's incredible. And having events like this are so important.
I wanted to mention just one thing about the evening, and because these are my favorite songs. He's going to be playing Summer Wind, New York, New York, Come Fly With Me. So I'm personally very much looking forward to the evening. We started on the revitalization of Memorial Hall just at the end of 2012. So really 2013 was the first year toward this full revitalization. And we had about 170 different events, meetings, weddings, performances, and so forth, which we were just overwhelmed. I think what it demonstrates is the real need in our community for a mid-sized type of a performance hall, a 600-seat performance hall. And we also have these reception rooms that provide an opportunity for the people who come to meet earlier, to network, to socialize, in addition to having the opportunity to see a concert and so forth. The other thing that I wanted to just highlight also is that Memorial Hall, with this 600-seat capacity, is very complementary to our next door big neighbor, Music Hall. Music Hall has close to around 3,000 seats, and we have 600 seats. So what is maybe doesn't work so well in that big hall can work just perfectly in our small, intimate performance hall at Memorial Hall.
And it's right next door. And I will tell you, here in Cincinnati, we have had some wonderful entertainment venues that we have lost over the years. I mean, you look at the struggle to even try to keep things like the Emory Theater up and running and whatnot. And some of these have failed, and it's sad when we lose some of these venues. And to imagine that if we weren't making as good a use as we could of a facility like Memorial Hall, it would really be a loss to Cincinnati. And like as Bill just said, it's a perfectly complementary facility to Music Hall, the Music Hall Ballroom, the whole thing. They each fill a very important niche in the community arts in Cincinnati.
Yes, and you know, we have as a city this wonderful opportunity to create a world-class arts district around Washington Park. It is already happening in many ways. The School for the Creative and Performing Arts, the performance area at Washington Park, the remodeling and renovation at Music Hall, which is planned. This gives us, along with Memorial Hall, an opportunity for a world-class arts district. And I think that's something that all of us that are interested in the arts and interested in Cincinnati can be very, very proud of.
And we all know that the biggest challenge is just getting people to come back down there and try it. So, Teresa, I know you've been very instrumental, forgive the pun, I guess, or vocal in this case, in creating the Signature Series and working with the Signature Series. Tell us some of the other events that have happened and some that may be in the offing, including, of course, coming up on Friday, April 18th.
Mm-hmm. Well, we started in November, and we had a performance called An Evening of the Classics. And we were just so thrilled because, you know, we sold out, so we had great community support. And then in February, we had an event, Choirs by Night, and we were very excited about that performance because we had the May Festival perform, the School for Creative and Performing Arts Baby Grands, and the Martin Luther King Chorale. And it was just an amazing performance. It was just breathtaking. Everyone walked out of that performance just astonished. And then in February, we had the Bourbon and Bluegrass, and we were just thrilled. Bourbon and Bluegrass sold out 10 days before. We're not really sure why. But
sounds good to me.
It was a great party. So everyone had a great time.
This is Simply Swinging now. This is
Correct.
the next one.
Yes.
April 18th. It's a Friday evening. There are still tickets available. Is that correct?
Correct. We do still have tickets available, and we would love to have you come join us at Memorial Hall.
And if you love Sinatra, and I know so many people who listen to this radio station adore Frank Sinatra, Steve Lippia, we just heard a couple of songs from him. We'll hear another one at the end of the program today. But also, you want to talk about the best of all worlds because you're bringing in Steve Lippia, who kind of really brings this wonderful Sinatra vibe to the whole thing, that late 50s vibe. And then you have the best of our local jazz musicians, which is a national level jazz orchestra, and that is Dr. Scott Belk and, of course, the CCM Contemporary Jazz Orchestra, which will be accompanying him. And I just wonder, what kind of reactions are people having to when they come down to Memorial Hall? Are they kind of blown away? Or some of these people coming down for the first time? Or has it been years since they've been there?
Yes, it's amazing. So many people will walk through those front doors of Memorial Hall and they'll be like, wow, I've lived here for 30 years and I've never been inside this building. And then they walk upstairs and they see all the beautiful lights and the beautiful theater. And, you know, it's just that hidden jewel. And they're excited.
Of course, Washington Park has this wonderful 450-car parking garage, which
across
is
the
right
street.
across the street. And you know, I've given so much credit to our park board and to 3CDC, who have done a spectacular job in Washington Park, and it's really been that that provided this opportunity. That gave us the initiative to move forward with the renovation of Memorial Hall. And it's very exciting.
You just heard Bill Bauman, president of the Memorial Hall Society. We also have Teresa Summy-Haas, the executive director of Memorial Hall, here with us. And we'll give information out at the very end of the show. But if you're interested in ticket information for the Simply Swinging, it's at 1-800-514-3849. You may want to see some of the photographs and learn a little bit more about the history of Memorial Hall. It's at www.cincinnati-memorialhall.com. You can also find out about tickets there as well. Now, I understand there's also a Friends of Memorial Hall as well. Can you tell us about that organization?
The Friends of Memorial Hall is an opportunity for everyone to participate in this story of revitalization of Memorial Hall. Friends of Memorial Hall was formed just in the last quarter of last year, and we now have over 100 members of the Friends, and it was formed to help protect, help preserve, and help improve Memorial Hall. And
I was going to say,
George.
as you move forward, what are the things on your wish list as you're looking into the things that you're headed for, as far as what needs are there going to be for Memorial Hall in the near future and then maybe for the far future?
Well, I mean, we're certainly looking forward to a number of the events that are going to be there. We're Photo Focus, which of course is the very successful regional arts event focused on photography. Photo Focus is going to make Memorial Hall its home in October. So we're looking very much forward to that. We're looking forward to the return of the Constella Festival, and we're looking forward to 2015, when we hope to start the actual renovation of Memorial Hall. And what will that entail? Well, Memorial Hall has not. It is basically in the same condition that it was in when it was built over 100 years ago, which is very, very good as it relates to the decorative elements and the design of the interior and so forth. But we need new air conditioning, we need new heating systems, we need new electrical systems, we need the floors to be improved, and mundane things like the roof being replaced and so forth.
But those are all aspects that we may not notice when we walk in, but they're the creature comforts that make attending an event there that much more enjoyable. To be able to bring in major groups, you do have to have new electric and things like that, just to be able to have the infrastructure.
Very much so. We're going to be updating all of the production elements of the hall, the sound system, the lighting systems, more theatrical lighting, and so forth, so that we can attract very important performers and concerts and so forth.
We're down to our last couple of minutes here. We are talking about Memorial Hall with Teresa Summy-Haas, who is the executive director of Memorial Hall, Bill Bauman, who is the president of the Memorial Hall Society. And I don't want to get out of here without mentioning one more time that the big event coming up, the most current event coming up, Simply Swinging, Steve Lippia, who is the incarnation almost of Frank Sinatra, just incredible, with the CCM Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. They're just going to be a wonderful evening. And once again, Teresa, tell us there's more to it than just music, though.
Oh, yes.
What else is happening this night, April 18th?
Right. Included in the price of the ticket is your light bites and cocktails and a post-reception of dancing and desserts. So we hope to see you next Friday.
And once again, you're making really good use of all the space at Memorial Hall. So by being able to utilize all this other spaces, the meeting areas and things like that, you can really turn this into really a multi-event evening for people.
Correct. So it's very nice to start the evening off in the reception rooms for your pre-reception or your networking, and then go up to the theater for lectures or for performances, and then to return to the first floor for your post-reception or networking.
And when we're talking about history, of course, the Blue Wisp is involved as well here. And I mean, that was the first place I did my first live music mix was at the Blue Wisp back when it was in O'Brienville.
That's great.
This is just incredible. Well, I want to wish both of you the best of luck. We hope people will come out and support Memorial Hall. And this is an incredible effort to revitalize a wonderful building that might have been lost otherwise, or at least underutilized otherwise. And here we have an opportunity by attending things like Simply Swinging with Steve Lippia and the CCM Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. That's going to be coming up on Friday, April the 18th. Is at what time does everything start?
It starts at 6:30,
6:30, right?
and then the performance starts at 8.
And once again, if people want ticket information, you can find it online at CincinnatiMemorialHall.com. That's just one big long word, CincinnatiMemorialHall.com. Or you can simply call 1-800-514-3849. We also have that information here at the radio station as well. That number again, 1-800-514-3849. Bill, Teresa, thank you for coming in here with us today, and we wish you the best of luck. This is a great effort, and we're a station that lives and thrives on nostalgia, and it is so important when we can help support, and when you help support us as well, these wonderful efforts to keep these great facilities alive and well.
Well, thank you, George. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes, and thank you to your listeners.
And thank you so much. And once again, we're very proud to be part of the art scene here in Cincinnati, and these people are helping to make it happen. If you could watch their eyes light up the way I have been watching here, they are excited about what they do. And once again, we need more people like Bill and Teresa here in Cincinnati to make this happen. We're going to go out with some Steve Lippia. Steve will be performing with the CCM Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. Kathy Wade will be there. All kinds of fun. Friday, April 18th, Simply Swinging at Memorial Hall. Again, 1-800-514-3849.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. Every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy